Brother, are you cold?
I never thought the valley winds could be colder than that of the mountains.
Here, take my blanket. The wind is funneled here, it's sharper.
It's quite a busy place for camp.
Few more weeks of sleeping under tree branches and foliage for cover, never mind the cold, I would have died from yet another wanton branch falling on my head. It's good to have some spirit around us.
Acha. Keeps the spirits at bay.
Don't look so worried. When the noises stop, then you have cause to have the big bug eyes and tense springing arms. It's not very much different to being solitary in the woods, is it? Just a different kind of animal and a different kind of noise.
If you say so, big brother.
You know, I remember most of Mother's story about the hunter with the big spear.
Mithra Banu.
Ah, yes. Yes, he lived in a village near Katika. I forget what it was called.
Bampu. Something like that.
Yeah, Bampanda. And he used to wander the plains looking for deer to feed his family. Do you remember this story?
A little. Seems like a nice night for a story.
Okay, well, for many seasons all was well, but one year there was a particularly bad drought. So bad that all the grasses withered and the bare earth revealed her scars to the skies, you remember. Mithra Banu left home with his spear, his bow, and 10 fine arrows.
She loved that bit.
But Mother told it so well. So Mithra Banu, with his 10 fine arrows, could find no creatures to hunt. He would lay under the stars, much like us, with the flicker of a fire to warm his soul, much like us.
And pray to the gods for help. Much like us, to stave off the cold and the noise.
So you can imagine his surprise when one night he awoke to find a figure seated at his campfire, warming their hands against the flames. "Greetings, stranger! How might I help you?" he asked, for his mother had taught him his manners well, you remember. The stranger turned, their face both beautiful and radiant, and said,
I was wandering by and heard your prayers. You really think that the gods will help you?
"I do," Mithra Banu said. "The gods will always help those in need. And who is more in need than my family?" The stranger looked at him then, and in the flickering of the flames, Mithra Banu thought he saw
Violet eyes.
violet eyes sparkle under the stranger's hood, before they rose and rubbed their hands together once more.
Thank you for letting me share your fire, friend. I will offer you a gift in return.
Mithra Banu sat up then, eager for whatever this stranger might give.
You will find what you seek to the west, across the Lakma wildlands. Travel for 9 more days and your prayers will be answered.
Then the stranger left, walking into the darkness unafraid. In the morning, Mithra Banu continued west, and the next day he came across a village. Everyone in this village was poor, very poor, wearing rags and looking so thin. Still, these people were kind and offered the hunter what little food they had. "Nay, I could not take this from you. I see that the drought has been far more unkind to you than it has been to me," he replied. And that night he added a prayer for the small village to his rituals.
Do you remember the story with a drought at the village or a flood?
Drought, flood, same thing, no food. On the next day he continued west again and found a sickly elephant, collapsed and heaving in the heat. There were no watering holes to be found, they had all dried up under the scorching rays of the sun. He sat and comforted it as it died, and then continued his journey. Over the next 6 days he found many suffering creatures, and people, each worse off than those he had found the day before. Until the dawn of the 9th day came. What? You always liked this bit, why don't you tell it?
The sun that day was especially hot, and the ground did not even have enough life to turn to dust. Mithra Banu walked for as long as he could, until he did not even have the energy left to sweat anymore. Soon he collapsed, and lay looking up at the sun, waiting to die. "If this is to be my end," I pray that the gods hear my prayers. Please, send water to this land, for there is great suffering.
And whose suffering is greatest?
A voice replied. He could barely turn his head, but Mithra Banu recognized the voice as the voice of the stranger by the fire from many days before. Mine, he answered the stranger.
Yours?
The stranger's voice was amused.
Why do you think that?
Because I have seen how many other people and creatures, and even Mother Ondra herself is suffering, and I can do nothing to help. If I die now, I will be ashamed as well as broken-hearted.
And what would you offer in exchange for the power to help others?
The stranger asked. Mithra Banu didn't need to think. He answered swiftly and assuredly. My life, with great joy, to help others,
I accept.
the stranger said.
Mithra Banu felt his body change. He felt his soul rise up and saw his broken and parched form upon the earth. The stranger was surrounded by radiant light, and their purple eyes shone.
Mithra Banu felt the arms of his astral body begin to grow, becoming wings. He felt his mouth close. It was sharpening to a beak, and soon he stood upon the earth as a giant bird.
He rose up into the air. With each beat of his mighty wings, thunder and lightning swirled around him, crackling the very air. He rose higher, and the storm grew stronger.
When it had reached a pitch of fever, he lifted his head and screamed into the sky, causing it to burst open with fear.
And the rain burst free in the world's first monsoon. I don't think I captured Mother's energy, but no one can say I didn't try most wholesomely.
You did her rendition great honor, big brother.
Okay, it's getting late.
Meditation tomorrow.
It's been a long journey.
How did Mother finish the story?
She would always sit back down, adjust her clothes like so, and look us straight in the eye and say, "Ever
Since then, Mithra Banu has guarded us all, forsaking his mortal form in order to ensure that the rains fall to those that need them most. His sacrifice is equal to that of the great firebird, whom the god Sirka infused with his fire breath to send the summer to make sure that the world never drowns. And the two circle our lands in tandem, their wings touching in harmony, two parts of a whole, born out of God's power and man's humility."